Social media is supposed to be the great equalizer, a place where anyone, regardless of background, can share their voice, build a following, and create opportunities that might have been impossible in the offline world. For Black creators, the promise of social media is especially powerful. It's a platform to tell stories that mainstream media ignores, to build communities that celebrate Black culture, and to turn creativity into a career. But behind the viral videos, trending hashtags, and glossy influencer campaigns, there's a reality that rarely gets discussed. The dark side of social media for Black creators is real, and it's more complicated and more dangerous than most people realize. It starts with visibility. On the surface, social media seems to offer a level playing field. Anyone can post, anyone can go viral, and anyone can build a brand. But the algorithms that decide what gets seen and what gets buried are not neutral. They are shaped by the same biases that exist in the real world. Black creators often find their content suppressed, their reach limited, or their accounts shadow banned for reasons that are never fully explained. Posts about racism, activism, or Black joy are flagged as sensitive or controversial, while similar content from non-Black creators is allowed to flourish. The result is a digital glass ceiling, one that's invisible but just as real as any other barrier. Then there's the issue of credit. Black creators are some of the most innovative voices on social media. From viral dances to meme culture, from beauty trends to political commentary, Black creativity drives the internet. But too often, these ideas are co-opted by larger, often white influencers, or brands who profit from them without giving credit or compensation. A dance goes viral, but the original creator is left out of the spotlight. A hashtag trends, but the people who started it are erased from the story. This digital appropriation is a new form of exploitation, one that echoes the old patterns of taking from Black culture without giving back. Monetization is another challenge. Social media platforms promise that anyone can make money from their content, but the reality is more complicated. Brand deals, ad revenue, and sponsorships are often harder to secure for Black creators. Studies have shown that Black influencers are paid less than their white counterparts for the same campaigns, even when they have similar or larger followings. The reasons are complex: implicit bias, lack of access to networks, and the perception that Black audiences are niche or less valuable to advertisers. The result is a system where Black creators do more work for less reward, and where the dream of turning content into a career remains out of reach for many. But the dark side of social media isn't just about money or visibility, it's about safety. Black creators are disproportionately targeted by harassment, hate speech, and online abuse. Racist trolls flood comment sections, send threats, and try to silence voices they don't want to hear. Platforms are slow to respond, and the burden of moderation often falls on the creators themselves. Reporting abuse can feel like shouting into the void, and the emotional toll is real. For many, the constant barrage of negativity leads to anxiety, depression, and burnout. The very platforms that promise connection and community can become sources of isolation and harm. There's also the pressure to perform. Social media rewards consistency, engagement, and authenticity, but for Black creators, being authentic can come at a cost. Sharing personal stories about racism, trauma, or identity can attract support, but it can also invite scrutiny, skepticism, and backlash. There's a fine line between vulnerability and exploitation, and the pressure to turn pain into content can be overwhelming. Some creators feel trapped by their own brands, forced to relive trauma or play into stereotypes in order to keep their audience engaged. The result is a cycle of emotional labor that is rarely acknowledged or compensated. The mental health impact of all of this cannot be overstated. The constant need to create, to respond, to defend, and to hustle can lead to exhaustion and burnout. The fear of being canceled, the anxiety of watching your numbers fluctuate, the stress of dealing with trolls and copycats, it all adds up. For Black creators who are already navigating a world that is often hostile or indifferent, the added pressures of social media can be too much to bear. And yet, despite all these challenges, Black creators continue to innovate, inspire, and lead. They build communities, start movements, and change the culture, often with little support or recognition. They use their platforms to educate, to entertain, and to empower. But the cost is real, and the risks are high. The dark side of social media for Black creators is not just a personal problem, it's a systemic one. It's about the ways that technology, culture, and capitalism intersect to create new forms of inequality. It's about the algorithms that reinforce bias, the brands that profit from Black creativity without investing in Black creators, and the platforms that fail to protect their most vulnerable users. It's about the emotional labor, the financial barriers, and the constant threat of erasure. The dark side of social media for Black creators is not just about the platforms themselves, it's about the culture that surrounds them. Online spaces reflect the biases, prejudices, and power dynamics of the offline world, often amplifying them in ways that are more visible and more vicious. For Black creators, this means navigating a landscape where racism, colorism, and misamajar are not just occasional hazards, but daily realities. The comment sections can be brutal, filled with everything from subtle microaggressions to outright hate. Even when a post goes viral for the right reasons, it can quickly attract trolls, copycats, and opportunists looking to profit from someone else's work. One of the most painful aspects of this reality is the way it can make Black creators question themselves. When your content is constantly being flagged, when your follower count stalls for no clear reason, when you see others getting credit for ideas you started, it's easy to wonder if you're doing something wrong. The self-doubt creeps in. Am I not good enough? Is my voice too political, too loud, too different? Should I change who I am to fit in? This internalized pressure can be just as damaging as the external barriers, leading to anxiety, imposter syndrome, and a sense of isolation. The pressure to go viral adds another layer of stress. Social media rewards content that is sensational, controversial, or emotionally charged. For Black creators, this can mean feeling pushed to share personal trauma, to perform pain, or to play into stereotypes in order to get attention. The algorithms favor drama, but the cost is real. Sharing your story can be empowering, but it can also be re-traumatizing. The line between authenticity and exploitation is thin, and it's easy to lose sight of your own boundaries in the pursuit of likes, shares, and followers. There's also the issue of community policing. Sometimes the harshest critics are not strangers, but people from your own community. Black creators are often held to impossible standards, expected to represent everyone, to never make mistakes, to always be on message. Any perceived misstep can lead to backlash, call-outs, or even cancellation. The fear of disappointing your community, of being labeled a sellout or problematic, can be paralyzing. It's a reminder that visibility is a double-edged sword. The more people who see you, the more people who feel entitled to judge you. Despite all this, Black creators continue to innovate and inspire. They use humor, creativity, and resilience to push back against the negativity. They create safe spaces, private groups, group chats, and closed communities where they can share ideas, vent frustrations, and support each other without fear of judgment. These spaces are lifelines, offering validation, advice, and a sense of belonging that is often missing from the wider internet. Collaboration is another strategy for survival. Black creators are increasingly joining forces, amplifying each other's work, and building networks that bypass the traditional gatekeepers. They host joint live streams, create group projects, and share resources. By working together, they can reach wider audiences, negotiate better deals, and protect each other from exploitation. Collaboration is not just a business strategy, it's a form of resistance, a way to reclaim power in a system that is designed to divide and conquer. Education is also a key tool. Black creators are using their platforms to teach others about the realities of racism, appropriation, and digital exploitation. They share tips on how to protect your content, how to negotiate contracts, and how to build a sustainable brand.
They call out brands and platforms that engage in discriminatory practices, and they demand accountability. This work is exhausting, but it's also empowering. Knowledge is power, and sharing it is a way to build collective strength. The mental health impact of all this cannot be ignored. The constant exposure to negativity, the pressure to perform, and the fear of backlash can take a serious toll. Many Black creators struggle with anxiety, depression, and burnout. Some take breaks from social media, others leave altogether. The loss of these voices is a loss for everyone, but it's also a reminder of the urgent need for change. Platforms have a responsibility to do better. This means not just celebrating Black creators during Black History Month, but investing in their success year-round. It means hiring diverse teams, building transparent algorithms, and responding quickly to reports of harassment and abuse. It means creating pathways for Black creators to monetize their work, to access resources, and to build sustainable careers. It means listening to the people who are most affected and making real changes based on their feedback. The dark side of social media for Black creators is a complex, multifaceted problem. It's about power, profit, and the ongoing struggle for recognition and respect. But it's also about resilience, creativity, and the refusal to be silenced. Black creators are not just surviving, they are thriving, building new worlds and changing the culture from the inside out. Their stories are a testament to the power of community, the importance of self-care, and the possibility of transformation even in the most challenging circumstances.
For Black creators, the journey on social media is a constant balancing act between opportunity and vulnerability. Every post is a risk, every comment section a potential minefield. The rewards can be great: exposure, community, even financial success, but the costs are often hidden. The emotional labor of navigating racism, colorism, and cultural appropriation is rarely acknowledged by platforms or audiences. Instead, Black creators are expected to be both resilient and endlessly creative, to turn pain into content and struggle into inspiration. One of the most difficult realities is the way social media can distort self-worth. The metrics, likes, shares, followers, become a measure of value, but they are fickle and often manipulated by algorithms that don't favor Black voices. When a post underperforms, it's easy to internalize the failure, to wonder if you're not interesting enough, attractive enough, or on trend enough. This constant comparison can erode confidence and make it hard to remember why you started creating in the first place. The pressure to monetize adds another layer of complexity. For many Black creators, social media is not just a hobby, it's a lifeline. It's a way to pay bills, support family, or fund creative projects. But the path to financial stability is full of obstacles. Brand deals are often reserved for those who fit a certain mold, and even when opportunities arise, the pay gap is real. Black creators are frequently offered less money for the same work, or asked to do more for free in exchange for exposure. The hustle never stops, and the line between passion and exploitation can blur. There's also the challenge of authenticity. Audiences crave realness, but the definition of authenticity is often shaped by stereotypes and expectations. Black creators are praised for being raw or unfiltered, but punished when their truth makes people uncomfortable. There's a constant negotiation. How much of yourself do you share, and how much do you protect? Do you talk about racism and risk alienating followers, or do you keep it light and risk erasing your own experience? The pressure to perform, to educate, and to entertain all at once is exhausting. The impact on mental health is profound. The constant exposure to negativity, the fear of being canceled, and the relentless demand for content can lead to anxiety, depression, and burnout. Many Black creators find themselves withdrawing from social media, taking breaks, or even quitting altogether. The loss of these voices is a loss for everyone, but it's also a reminder of the urgent need for better support and resources. Despite these challenges, Black creators continue to innovate and inspire. They use humor, satire, and storytelling to challenge stereotypes and spark important conversations. They create art, music, and movements that shape culture and drive change. They build communities that offer support, validation, and a sense of belonging. In the face of adversity, they find ways to thrive. One of the most powerful tools is collaboration. By working together, Black creators can amplify each other's voices, share resources, and create opportunities that might not exist otherwise. Collaboration is not just about business, it's about survival. It's about building networks of trust and support. It's about creating spaces where people can be themselves without fear of judgment or exploitation. Education is another key strategy. Black creators are increasingly using their platforms to share knowledge about copyright, contracts, mental health, and more. They teach each other how to protect their work, how to negotiate deals, and how to navigate the complexities of the digital world. This sharing of information is a form of empowerment, a way to level the playing field and build collective strength. Advocacy is also essential. Black creators are demanding better from platforms, brands, and audiences. They are calling out discriminatory practices, pushing for transparency in algorithms, and insisting on fair pay and treatment. They are organizing, petitioning, and using their influence to create change. This work is slow and often frustrating, but it is making a difference. The dark side of social media for Black creators is real, but it is not the whole story. There is also light, moments of connection, creativity, and joy that make the struggle worthwhile. There are communities of support, networks of collaboration, and movements for change. There is resilience, innovation, and the refusal to be silenced. The future of social media for Black creators will depend on the choices we all make, creators, platforms, brands, and audiences alike. It will depend on our willingness to listen, to learn, and to change. It will depend on our commitment to justice, equity, and inclusion. And it will depend on the courage of Black creators to keep telling their stories, to keep building community, and to keep dreaming of a world where their voices are valued and their contributions are recognized.
The dark side of social media for Black creators is also about the invisible labor that goes into simply existing online. Every day, Black creators must make decisions about what to share, how to respond to negativity, and how to protect their mental health. This labor is rarely seen by followers or brands, but it is constant and exhausting. It's the work of moderating comments, blocking trolls, reporting hate speech, and navigating the emotional aftermath of online attacks. It's the work of explaining, educating, and sometimes defending your very right to take up space. This invisible labor is compounded by the expectation that Black creators will always be on, always ready to respond, to create, to perform. The pressure to keep up with trends, to post consistently, and to engage with followers can be overwhelming. For many, the fear of losing momentum or being forgotten is real. Algorithms reward those who never take a break, but for Black creators, the cost of constant visibility can be high. Burnout is not just a risk, it's a reality. There's also the challenge of navigating brand partnerships. Brands want to tap into Black culture, but they don't always want to invest in Black creators. Too often, Black creators are brought in for diversity campaigns or special projects, but not given the same long-term opportunities as their white peers. They are asked to share their stories, to lend their credibility, and to help brands appear inclusive, but they are rarely given a seat at the table when decisions are made. This tokenism is a form of exploitation, and it reinforces the very inequalities that social media is supposed to disrupt. The issue of safety is ever present. For Black creators, the threat of doxing, harassment, and even physical violence is real. Sharing personal information, even something as simple as a location tag, can be risky. Many Black creators have had to develop strategies for protecting their privacy and their safety, using pseudonyms, avoiding certain topics, or keeping their families out of the spotlight. The emotional toll of living with this constant vigilance is hard to overstate.
Despite these challenges, Black creators continue to build and sustain vibrant online communities. They create spaces where people can share their experiences, find support, and celebrate their culture. These communities are lifelines, offering validation, encouragement, and a sense of belonging. They are also sites of resistance, where Black creators can push back against the negativity and create new narratives. One of the most inspiring aspects of Black creator culture is the emphasis on mutual aid. When a creator is targeted by trolls, others rally to their defense. When someone needs help, financial, emotional, or professional, the community steps up. This spirit of solidarity is a powerful antidote to the isolation and hostility that can come with being visible online. It's a reminder that even in the darkest moments, there is strength in connection. The role of mentorship is also crucial. More established Black creators often take the time to guide newcomers, sharing advice, resources, and warnings about the pitfalls of the industry. This mentorship is not just about business, it's about survival. It's about making sure that the next generation of Black creators is better equipped to navigate the challenges and seize the opportunities of the digital world. Education and advocacy go hand in hand. Black creators are not just content producers, they are educators, activists, and leaders. They use their platforms to raise awareness about issues that matter, to mobilize their followers, and to demand change. They are at the forefront of movements for racial justice, equity, and inclusion, both online and offline. Their voices are powerful, and their impact is real. But the work is never done. The fight for recognition, respect, and safety is ongoing. Platforms must do more to protect Black creators, to invest in their success, and to ensure that their contributions are valued. Brands must move beyond tokenism and make real commitments to equity and inclusion. Audiences must recognize the labor that goes into creating content and support Black creators not just with likes and shares, but with real engagement and investment. The dark side of social media for Black creators is a reflection of the broader struggles for justice and equality. It's about power, profit, and the ongoing fight to be seen and heard. But it's also about resilience, creativity, and the refusal to be silenced. Black creators are not just surviving, they are thriving, building new worlds and changing the culture from the inside out. Their stories are a testament to the power of community, the importance of self-care, and the possibility of transformation even in the most challenging circumstances. The future of social media for Black creators will depend on the choices we all make, creators, platforms, brands, and audiences alike. It will depend on our willingness to listen, to learn, and to change. And it will depend on the courage of Black creators to keep telling their stories, to keep building community, and to keep dreaming of a world where their voices are valued and their contributions are recognized.